Hey guys, welcome to my little paintbrush. I am Miss Sarah, and today we're going to be painting this cute fluffy spider on an 11 by 14 canvas. I am super excited to do this with you. Remember, as we are creating this painting, that we're all a little bit different, right? So our spiders are going to look different. That's what makes it so fun. So remember, you can pause the video. If you need to slow down a little bit, that's okay. You can pause it and take your time and create your very own masterpiece with me, all right? So we're gonna use a couple things today, a large flat, a medium flat, and a line brush. If you don't have these, any small brush or a flat will work. You also need a sponge. We're gonna do some sponge work today. I love using sponges. They give it a fun texture, so any kind of sponge will work. I just cut off a corner of a regular kitchen sponge. So that's all you need to use, okay, for yours. Just make sure you get it a little bit wet before you use it, all right? You'll just want a little bit of water on it so it's not stiff. So we're gonna use the sponge first to fill in our background. You should have your canvas already traced and ready to go. And we're just going to start by first getting our sponge here, pinch the corner of it, okay? And we're going to dip our sponge in a little bit of orange on one side. So I have orange on one corner, and then I'm going to put some white on the other corner. So I have each corner loaded with orange and white. And this is going to give us two different colors in our background. Okay, once you have it loaded like that, we're going to just start pressing on our canvas, stamping it in. And the fun thing with this is you can decide how much orange and white you want on your background. And if you want to cover your lines for your spider web, that's okay, you can do that. I'm gonna leave a little space so you can see it, just in case you prefer it that way. But it's super easy to just paint right over your orange, right? So if you go over the top of your lines, that is okay. Now it's important that when you're using this fun sponge, you don't brush with it, okay? We want to press and pull away. Press down and pull away. See that? The reason we want to do that is so you get that texture. If you brush, it'll look very different, which is okay. It's totally okay if that's what you like, okay? But if you want that spongy look in the background, then you want to press and pull away with your sponge. All right, so if you want more orange in it, see, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking I want more orange. I'm just gonna dip my sponge in just orange without white and start sponging in the orange right over the top. And you'll notice that you still have lots of white in it, right? Makes it kind of fun to have those different tones. So I'm gonna sponge the top edge of my canvas up here. You can reach up at the top and sponge the top of your canvas too. It's so fun to see all the different shades that show up, right? So I'm just gonna keep sponging. I've added some more white now to my sponge. So I'm keeping white on one corner and orange on the other corner, okay? We really wanna try and keep it that way as we go. We're gonna go around our spider. I'm not gonna paint or sponge inside my spider. If I get a little bit on there, it's okay. I'm gonna try to just sponge around our spider. Just like that. If you go inside your spider, don't stress it too much, okay? It's okay. Because your spider is black and it's just gonna cover the whole thing. So you don't need to worry if you get in your spider. We're just doing our best, right? See how I went in my spider and it's okay. The main reason you don't want to go inside your spider is so that you can see where your spider's at. All right? Okay, so now we're gonna sponge up here and keep going all the way up. And it's okay if you go right over the webs. I'll show you how to paint those back. Okay, And you can even do your own spider web if you want to create a different kind of spider web. You can do that. You don't have to do it just like mine. I've seen all kinds of spider webs with this painting. It's one of our favorite things to see what you come up with. Okay, so I'm just going to keep sponging all the way around. Okay, so now you can step back and look at your spider painting and decide if you want more orange on it or if you're happy with the way it looks. If you want more orange, just put more orange on your sponge and sponge right back over anything that's bothering you. But if you love the way it looks, then you can just set your sponge down. I wouldn't try and wash it off right now. I would set it aside. Or if you want to stop and wash it off, you can. I wouldn't put it in my jar of water or my cup of water, because what happens is it just fills it up with paint. Okay. Just making sure I have some white in there. So everything's covered. So take a minute and sponge the sides of your canvas and the bottom and the top. Right? Make sure you get all of that. So I'm going to set my sponge aside now. Good work. Isn't that a fun way to do the background? So once you get your background in, we're going to switch brushes. Well, not switch brushes. We used a sponge, right? So now we're going to use a brush. We're going to use a large flat brush. I'm going to load it up with some black. We're just going to let our background dry a minute. Okay, and while our background's drying, we're going to paint our spider. And this is such a fun spider because we have a trick to make him or her look fluffy. But first we need to paint this oval shape. All right, so first we're going to paint this in, and then I'm going to show you how to make a fluffy spider. And it was so funny because we had a little artist come up to the canvas at our studio and try to pet the spider and couldn't believe that it wasn't fluffy, because it looks fluffy, right? And that's what's so fun about this spider. So we're going to make this spider look fluffy. But first, let's get our shape in. So I'm going to come all the way around here, go around the bottom by the eyes. I'm trying not to paint inside my eye shape because my eyes are a really light color. If you end up painting inside your eyes, it's okay. You can paint them white again later, but just make sure your black is totally dry before you paint them in, okay? But you can come back and paint those white again later. Or if you want to do different eyes, you can change it up and make them different. You don't have to do them like Miss Sarah's. I'm going to try and go around here without going in too much, right? Go all the way around the eyes. There we go. Just like that. Perfect. Okay, make sure your spider's dry. All right, so for this part, this is where we make our spider fluffy. Okay, now you want your background to be dry enough to do this. So I'm going to check my background. If yours isn't, you can stop real quick and get a blow dryer or a plate and dry your canvas. You want to make sure it's dry. Mine is good. So I'm going to keep going. But if you need to pause it and just check on your canvas, make sure it's dry first, okay? But the way we're going to make this fluffy is you're taking your flat brush and you're going to start in your black and you're going to flick your brush out. See how I'm flicking it? Okay, and when you flick your brush, you don't push hard with it. We don't push hard with our brush. We're using the very, very tippy toe. It's the tippy toe of our brush, okay? And you're going to flick out with your brush. See that? And when you flick, you'll see all the brush strokes coming away from your spider, right? See that? And we just keep going around our spider, flicking all the way around. If you want to practice first on a plate or a piece of paper before you do your flicking, do that, because sometimes it just takes a little bit of practice. But you just want to use the very tippy toe of your brush and flick out. Flick it. Okay. Don't push too hard with your brush or you'll lose the brush strokes that make it look fluffy. So we don't want to push too hard. We're just kind of dusting the spider. Dusting, pulling away from the spider, all the way around, just like that. So cute. And now you have your fluffy spider, huh? Just like that. Perfect. All right, let's let our spider dry a minute. I'm gonna rinse my brush really good. So I'm all done with it for a minute. I'm gonna set it down. And we're gonna switch brushes. I'm gonna use a line brush now. It's also called a detail brush because we're gonna do our spider web. And in order to do our spider web, we need a small line brush, okay? So let's put it in some paint here. Black paint. And I'm adding some water to it because it's been sitting here a minute. So I wanna make sure it's not too thick to do these lines. All right. Now this is where you can get creative and do any kind of spider web you want. You don't have to follow Miss Sarah, but make sure your background's dry. If your background isn't dry, it just makes it really tricky to do these spider webs, okay? So we're gonna start in the corner and make a V shape. Just at the corner of your canvas, okay? Make that V shape up there. Okay, and our first web is gonna come right across here at the top. We're gonna go straight across, just like that. You have to slow down, huh, to get those lines. Okay, so we're gonna go straight across there. And each one of my lines are a little bit longer or shorter. And lines are so tricky. They are really tricky to do. So take your time. And remember, if you push hard with your brush, you're gonna get a thicker line. And if you push soft, you'll get a smaller line. I like to show my artists here on my hand. If I push really hard, I get this big, thick line. If I push soft, I get a small line, right? So don't worry too much. If your line is big or small, they're just different. There's nothing wrong with them, they're just different. Just depends on how hard you push. I'm going to try and get all of my lines up here all the way to the corner of that canvas. So they meet right into that triangle that we created up there. Okay, so I want each of my lines to meet there. So I just pull my lines up. This is where if you lost your spider web, that's okay. You can create these lines yourself without all of the tracing. Because on some of mine I can see the tracing and some of them I can't. That's okay. Everyone's will look a little bit different. So what makes art so fun is that everyone's art looks different. Makes our world beautiful. Okay, so now that we have all of our lines connecting to that corner, we get to make smiley faces or rainbows. Okay, so you can curve your line now. Either way, you decide which way you want your line to go. Okay, I decided I wanted mine to curve like a rainbow this way. So imagine you're making a smiley face or a rainbow shape, right? Okay, and I think I'm gonna start here. Let's see. You just don't want to smear your hand, and I'm worried that's not dry, but we're gonna try it. Here we go. All right, so we're gonna make this smiley face, okay? Make sure that you're not putting your wrist in your black. Here we go. So we have a smiley face shape. There's one. We're gonna do another one here. We're just connecting our web. See that? Just connecting them. Okay, we're gonna create another one here. It's that rainbow shape. Connect them together. Just like that. We're going to keep going all the way up until you want to stop. Just until you're happy with it. You can add as many as you want to paint. Okay. Let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them on this side. And it's different every time I do it. So if you want to add more or less, you can. But if you keep that shape going, it will look more like the web instead of a straight line. Okay, so go all the way over. Just keep it going here. There we go, we got that one done. All right, let's connect to this one here. Go here and wrap it around. They all kind of connect together, huh? Keep going up, just like that. Keep curving that brush and making those rainbow shapes. And then I'm going to do this one. All the way up here. Just curving them together. If you have to slow down, you can. Now this line here, if you want to connect it, you can right here. I didn't. I just went right up here to the second one and left it long just for fun. But if you want to connect those, go for it. I'm going to climb all the way up my web there, keeping that circle going. Okay, right up here close to the top, we're going to do a little one all the way across. Just like that. And there's your web. I love it. We'll add some more to it in just a minute. Okay, but let's connect our spider now to our web. I'm going to do like a curly thing here, as if he's dropping down from his web. If you want to do it straight, you can, or you can curl it just like me. Okay, so I'm going to curl it here, just like that. It looks like an S. See that? Kind of looks like a backwards S. Awesome. All right, let's let the spider web dry for just a minute, and let's put some legs on our spider. I have 4 legs on each side of my spider, right? So use your line brush. Let's put some black on it. And my legs are shaped kind of like a V, an upside down V or a triangle. Okay, so it's going to come up, away from the spider, and down. See how it's kind of like a triangle shape there? Okay, so we have 1, comes up and down. 2, we're going to add another one here, up and down. There's 3, and we'll add 1 more. 4, just like that. Perfect. And let's go do it on the other side now. I'm going to try and go straight across here and create that triangle shape. 1. There's another one. You can do one that's really close together like that if you want to get tricky with those legs, have some fun with them. They don't all have to look the same. You can have this one going down more, see that? Kind of have some fun with it. All right, got our spider legs on. Looks so cool. Let's rinse our brush. Our spider should be dry enough that we can put our eyes on there now. So I'm going to have you switch brushes again. We're going to use a flat brush. And I have yellow right here on my plate and white. And I'm going to mix a little bit of white with my yellow. So let's just mix a little bit of white and yellow together. Just makes it really bright. And also, if you mix some white with it, then when you come back to paint your eyes here, If you got some black in your shape, you can paint right over it and it'll cover it up. And you get your shape back. So that's why I like to add white to my paint every time I do any color. It gives us lots of options. So now I'm going to paint in the eyes. Trying to paint a circle with my brush. It's really tricky to do, guys, so just do your best. Circles are always tricky. And there's our yellow eyeballs. If you want to add more yellow to it, you can to make it darker. That's up to you. You can leave it lighter or darker depending on how much paint, how much white you put in your yellow. Okay, so there's our yellow eyeballs. Let's let it dry just a minute. I'm going to rinse my brush because we want to keep our brush clean, right? I'm going to rinse my brush and set it down. And our spider web should be ready for us to do some highlighting. So let's go back to our little detail brush and put some white on it. It's our little line brush, the same brush you use to do your spider webs. Okay, so we're going to go back here and let's go to our spider web and we're going to put a little bit of white along our spider web. Now you don't have to paint exactly on your spider web. We just want to put a little bit of light right above it. Just like that. Okay, we're going to just go right back where you went. Now if your spider web isn't dry, you want to be really careful here. Right? You don't want to smear your spider web. So be really careful. If you accidentally touch your spider web and get a little bit of white and black mixed together, just stop and rinse your brush so you don't spread it. Otherwise you'll end up with a gray spider web, which is okay if that's what you're going for, right? Okay, we're going to do all of them here. Just going over it. Just right above where the web is. It really helps your spider web stand out. It gives it that shimmery look. Okay, do these here, all the way up. Awesome. I'm also going to do the little web that's hanging onto our spider. I'm going to go right along the top of it with white. See that? It just really helps your spider web stand out. And then we're going to go along the top of our legs with the white too. So anyone looking at your art can really see all of this standing out. Okay, go all the way around each one. There we go. Cute. Perfect. Let's put a little highlight in our spider and a smile. So this is where you can put any kind of face you want on your spider. I'm going to put a little highlight right here. Just like that. Oh, what did I get on there? All right. Let's cover that up. There we go. All right, and let's put a little bit of light in our eyes. I come right here along the top. You're just doing a rainbow shape in your eye. It just brightens it up. And then a little smile. I'm going to do just a little smile here right between the eyes. You can do any kind you want, just like that. We're going to put little black dots here in our eye in a minute. And it'll bring our spider to life. Okay, let's grab our biggest brush. The biggest brush you have, and we're going to flip it around and use the back of it. Okay, and we're going to put these dots in our web. These are fun. I love adding this sparkle. We call it a sparkle in our studio. So we have this chocolate chip I'm going to get with the back of my brush. If you get that chocolate chip, you know you have a good enough amount of paint on the back to get a really nice dot. Okay, and we're just going to put a dot right here on each of our lines, right between your rainbow shape on your spider web. Okay, so right on the line, right on the corner of each of your rainbow shapes in your spider web. So you just want to keep dipping. Anytime you feel like you're not getting a good circle anymore, it might mean you don't have enough paint on your brush and you need to get some more. So you'll get really good at dipping your brush here in that white paint and stamping. So dip it in there and stamp all the way across, just like that. Do this one. You'll get pretty fast at it as you go. Just make sure you're dipping and stamping on there. All right, so if you start getting really small dots, it just means you're stamping too much and you need more paint. Because as you go, it gets smaller. There. All right, I'm going to put one right on the end of each corner too. Right at the end there. Okay. Got a couple more over here. Don't want to run out of paint on these, huh? Make sure you're dipping all of those. Get those corners. And that way, if you don't have that perfect corner either, that dot covers it right up, right? Covers it up. Awesome. Looks so good. All right, so wipe off the back of your brush now, and let's switch to black. So now that the white is done, we're going to do the same thing, only with black. So I'm going to dip the back of it here in black and get that black chocolate chip. Okay, and we're going to put these eyes in. I'm just going to stick my eyes right here. You can put one in the middle or looking at the side, whatever you prefer there. I'm just sticking them right there in the middle. You can do a big circle or a little one. That's up to you. Just like that. And then you're going to put these little dots on the bottom of the feet. Just keep stamping each little foot. It's kind of fun to have these dots on there. All the way around. Awesome. Okay, we have one more little thing to do before we sign our canvas. And we're going to get our detail brush here. It's our line brush. Okay, and let's put some black on it. You're just going to outline this little eyeball. Okay, so we're going to add a rainbow shape right around here. See that? Right through, and that's what separates the eyes. Just like that. Super easy, right? You can add eyelashes to that if you want to. Anything you want to those eyes. All right, you guys, good work. Let's sign our name. Find a spot that you want to put your signature on. I'm gonna follow my spider web over here, just for fun. It kind of hides it in the spider web. So I'm gonna sign my name, Miss Sarah, right here. Happy Halloween, guys. Thanks for painting with me. Bye.